Cloud. Okay, this is Patrick Tellerico at the City of Palm Springs. This is the Standing Committee on Waste Reduction of the Sustainability Commission. It is November 5th at 2 o'clock, and we have commission members Roy Clark, Rob McCann, Lonnie Miller is absent today, and we have Chris Cunningham and Liz Hernandez from Palm Springs Disposal. So we're expecting Dan DeGarmo from the city as well, but we'll go ahead and get started. So I think it should be a fairly quick meeting today, I think. So just a few updates. Rob and I have not talked still about the park trash can and recycling container effort. So we should do that. Rob, are you here that week of Thanksgiving?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we could meet early that week. That would probably be best for me.
Okay. And if you want to, meet any earlier on the spreadsheet I sent, I'm available.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The wastewater and treatment plant improvements, I think I had reported out briefly on that last time. I had a meeting, Marcus had called a meeting with SoCal Gas to talk about the flare output and the kind of the capital improvements that are planned for the wastewater treatment plant. And we basically, from that meeting, we reviewed a few things. So one was, we talked about the process by which SoCal Gas would need to analyze the flare output to assess whether or not it can be taken into their system. And so we got actually some interesting information from that and the types of analyses that need to be done, et cetera. And so we talked a lot about that. And so basically there are four things that are going to move forward. So one is the SoCal Gas needs to do a capacity study. And they said that takes about 5 to 6 weeks. Then they do a preliminary engineering study, which takes about 6 months. And then they do a final detailed engineering study, which takes another 5 months. But anywhere in that analytical process, the project could be kind of in or out based on the findings of each step. So that basically is almost a year's worth of analyses that need to be done to figure out the capacity of the flare and how much gas would be entered into their system, and the quality of that gas, whether or not it needs to be treated, et cetera. Kind of parallel to that, there's another analysis that we would need to do with Stantec, which is our engineer that's working with us on the capital improvements for the wastewater treatment plant. They would need to do a deeper dive into the food waste available here in the city and maybe across the valley that could be available to feed our anaerobic digestion system that would need to be beefed up to in order to generate the amount of gas that would need to be done to make this feasible. So they had done a very high level preliminary analysis back like a year ago, and basically said that that was a viable option if we got a certain amount of food waste, but they didn't really go into much detail about analyzing the sources here in town and whether or not that was actually feasible. So anyway, so they we're going to ask them to do that analysis and talk to them in a little bit more depth about that. So those are kind of the four things that need to happen to make something, if we wanted to do something with that anaerobic digester at the wastewater treatment plant, that's what would need to happen for that to go forward. Now, that's on the gas side. Oh, and the other interesting thing that they told us was that in order to feed gas into their system, we need to actually find a market for that gas. So we need to have buyers in place that will consume the gas that we put into the line, not that they will necessarily consume that gas, but it's sort of unlike the electrical grid, which just will take the energy and dole it out. The gas grid is a little bit different. You have to actually have a market for it so that they can get rid of it, and they are sure that they can get rid of it. So I think the city could be a potential market for that. Our cogeneration facility is gas fired, so we could potentially serve as a resource for that. And then, Palm Springs disposal, you guys had talked about maybe using some of that. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think we have some local markets that are potential users of that, and it does count towards our 1383 purchases if it is generated from the anaerobic digestion process. So that would be good for us. So that's where we are. So we're going to go forward with those additional analyses and see where that gets us. The other kind of parallel thing, there are kind of three parallel tracks here, but the third thing that we're reinvestigating is we had some initial conversations with Southern California Edison. So if we were to electrify the exhaust from that flare at the site and try to feed that electricity into the grid, that could be another option for us. And we could potentially get like a net metering deal with Southern California Edison, but it depends on how much capacity we have based on the usage of, or the net metering for the solar array that's out there. So lots of things, lots of analyses that need to happen, and but anyway, we're moving forward with those investigations. So I wanted to.
Hey, Patrick.
Yes.
It sounds like there's a lot of options here, which is great.
Yeah.
Would you keep us informed on the food waste aspect of that? Because if that's an option, we just finished our condensed natural gas system in the yard here. So
Okay.
pretty much 100% natural gas on the trucks. The
Mhm.
pipes are in, everything's running.
Yeah.
And if the option was to capture that gas, then definitely we would be interested in something like that. There'd be a place for it at least.
Right. Well, super. And maybe you could at some point kind of shoot me over a sense of how much you think you use in those trucks.
Sure.
On an annual basis. That might help give us a sense of kind of market, and because I could think, I think there, as we go through this analysis, I think there will probably become a payoff point or something to figure out, based on if we could get more stuff into the system, what does that get us versus, okay, if we just sort of deal with the stuff that we think we have now, what does that provide for us? And so there may be kind of a range of outputs from that system.
Sure, we can do that. And then I know we did an analysis of approximate food waste that may be available, source separated food waste.
Okay.
So I'll include that too if you want to see that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Based on some cow cycle calculations and then ours here. So I'll send you that as well.
Okay, super. All right, so I'll keep you guys posted on that moving forward. Let's see, haven't gotten any nibbles on the neighborhood challenge. I did make an announcement at the last 1PS meeting. No movement on the foodware and plastics waste ordinance. I did reach out to the vendor at the airport so that I could chat with them about the potential ordinance and how it might impact their operations. The mandatory organics and recycling ordinance, that went through city council, and so that takes effect 30 days after the second reading, which will be next week. So basically, by the end of the year, that all should be in place so that we can start enforcing the recycling and organics management requirements. So that's good for us, and we're seeing the need for that already. And downtown trash enclosure efforts, we are continuing to talk to the users of that downtown trash enclosure. We did get a few people on board with organics services. And Liz, did you drop off the one for Village?
Yeah, I actually did this morning. Yesterday we got a little crazy here, but we delivered it. We spoke to the cook. We didn't speak to the two people that were there, but he was fine. He asked actually for the material to explain to the cooks, or I should say the kitchen crew, of what to do. And he asked the question, so no, none of this, none of that. What do you suggest? He's said it himself. I don't think this is going to be enough. We'll definitely meet several pickups a week. But I told him I contact George or Liz and ask them if they want to go ahead and sign up. But for now, we suggest to use at least what you guys use, for prep. And he was happy with that. So.
Okay, great. And I think that they, assuming that they get on board, I think there'll be a really good test case for how that all works, because I think they generate a lot. And there'll be an interesting test case to see how much they actually generate and how much they need. So
if you just get one person in that kitchen and management that cares enough, then we'll get a good, accurate study on it for sure.
Right.
And it sounded like he was saying, from what we use, we're thinking 2 carts 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So hopefully they go with that eventually, but we'll see.
Right. Okay. Well, good. Very good. All right. So then that leaves really Moxie is the only one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the new place, which is not open yet, but yeah.
Right. Okay. Super. All right. And let's see, old business. So the organics recycling compliance stuff, I think. So I have been working with Palm Springs Disposal, and we're starting to send out our letters to our businesses to get them to comply with the new requirements. And those letters are going out to everybody that has that generates 2 cubic yards of waste or more, so that we can capture the organics requirement for 2021. So hopefully we'll get a lot of people telling us that they don't generate a half a cubic yard, so that we can just exempt them. So that is in the works, and hopefully I'm going to try to get most of them out today and tomorrow, and then I'll get the rest out next week. So, and then I'll reach to multifamily and facilities and updated labels. So we did have on the 17th, we had a meeting with what was the name of that HOA?
Sunrise Racket Club.
Sunrise Racket Club. About their recycling. And so that was pretty good. It was very fast. It was only like 10 minutes with them. But we did you guys go ahead and give them the new labels and stuff?
Yes, that was already done. Yeah, I thought I wanted to go do it, but it had already been done. So that's kind of ongoing. We're getting those bins updated out there. Is just kind of an ongoing process. But yes, those were done.
Great. They had some good questions, and we provided them with some information afterwards. So hopefully they're the interesting case where their landscapers pick up their recycling from their curbs and put them in the recycling dumpster. So we're trying to get them off of plastic bags. So it's a little bit of a challenge. So downtown trash can audit. So I was going to throw out there November 9th, which is Monday, to see if Rob and Roy, you guys wanted to go out there and give that a shot on Monday.
Monday, November 9th?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I'm available.
That's fine with me.
Okay. So maybe we'll try to do that at, what do you think, like 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think that's probably a good time. It's going to be cool way down. So
Yeah. So
So-
it's more of a daylight issue, but the
Yeah.
sun probably sets about 4:40, 4:45 on Monday, somewhere around there. So we should be good.
yeah. Okay.
Now, Patrick, do you think, is there a chance of getting one more person so that we would have two teams of two each? I wonder.
So I think that I can recruit at least one more person. So
Okay.
Byron reluctantly said that he might be willing to do that. So
Good
And
for you.
I wonder if Lonnie's available.
I believe that she declined
Oh,
when we
very good.
had earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we just meet by Starbucks?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Monday, November 9th, 4 p.m. at Starbucks.
Okay.
And should I bring the checklist that I put together for the school? You know, it's got a lot of different categories that we can put numbers in.
Yeah, that would be good. And because I know that you guys did a lot of iterating on that, so let's try to use that if we can.
Okay, great.
And that might make it easier to just log if we've got a sheet like that.
I wonder how many then separate containers we're talking about, because I need to know that to print out the correct number of sheets.
Actually, I have a GIS map of all of those containers,
Mhm.
so I can just go and I can go and look and add them up and send you the number.
Okay, and Patrick, I wonder, just to save me the paper, if I send you these files, can you print them out at work?
Yep.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay. Yeah. Just send me the file, and I'll take a look at how many and print them out.
Okay, great.
All right. Cool.
If you guys need some help on that Monday at 4, I have a 2 o'clock, but that only lasts about an hour and a half. So you need some help out there, just let me know. I'll come out.
Okay.
Chris, if you want to come out and we can find one additional person, again, we do it in pairs because one person kind of counts and categorizes and the other one is sitting there putting the data into or onto these sheets. The more pairs of people we have, the faster it'll go.
Okay. I'll see if I can get another pair.
You can get how
Okay, all right.
I'm in.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating little exercise, is it? And you get a lot of really strange looks, which is kind of fun too.
Okay,
That's
well,
the
yeah,
fun
I
part.
think that we'll be able to make it. If Liz, you can be here Monday, then
Yeah.
yeah, I think we can come out there Monday afternoon, 4 o'clock.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. It really will speed it up.
Yeah.
No problem. At in front of Starbucks, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The reserve. So,
Bring gloves. It's a little messy, as you can tell. You can imagine.
All right.
all right. Let's see. And 1383 planning. So that continues. Working with Chris to schedule some time with Palm Springs Disposal to start talking about our franchise agreement. I sat through, I think it was 4 webinars last week on 1383 and the various requirements. And so they have developed these handy dandy templates and tools now for us to use. So this is the model franchise agreement, 177 pages of it, I think. And so that work is getting started. And Chris, we did have an internal meeting about it too, and I will circle back with you. I don't think we're going to meet with you guys next week, but I think the first thing we want to tackle is kind of the scope.
Right.
So I think you and I can probably talk through a lot of that and maybe start to kind of just get our arms around what it is that we're working with and need to integrate. So
Sure.
I think we'll do that.
Okay, no problem.
And then, all right. And then, so that's really it on that front. That's going to be moving forward pretty much full speed ahead here shortly. I did also participate in a call with the other cities in the Valley to talk about various waste management related things. And everybody's sort of about in the same place. I think Rancho Mirage and Palm Desert are a little bit further ahead in terms of their negotiations and franchise agreement updates. But for the most part, I think other cities were pretty much just starting that process. And the so anyway, so we'll see how that all evolves. But there were a couple things that we were trying to coordinate on valley-wide, like communications and outreach. So that's one of the things that we said that would be helpful to have a common message across the valley about kind of the changes that are coming and who needs to pay attention and what's coming and that kind of stuff, since that's pretty much universal. So that'll be coming from them, I think. Sustainability Scholarship Program. I talked about this at the last commission meeting, and I did move that forward to council. And that is going to go forward at the next council meeting on November 12th. Although I talked to the city manager yesterday, and he did not seem to think that I needed to get the council's approval for that program. I just needed to just announce it to them. So I think it's just going to be a presentation. So I'll probably do that at the very beginning, and then see if they've got any questions or feedback on that. And then we'll probably roll it out in December along with the energy audit or energy assessment program that we wanted to roll out for new homes or for homes. So that's where we are with that. And so under that scholarship program, what I did based on the feedback from the meeting is I allowed people up to $750 for offsetting their organics and recycling fees, and if they needed to buy equipment like containers or things like that. So that would be covered under that scholarship program. So again, no reason why people shouldn't start signing up for service and things like that if they're getting paid to do it. So hopefully. And then the composting grant, and I don't think, so there is a community composting grant out that, what's his name, Jace talked about last time. So that did come out. I don't know if that's gonna go anywhere. We're gonna take a look at that and see if there's anything we can do with that, but it just came out last week. And that's really all I have. So a lot of stuff underway and kind of in process. So we'll have more new stuff, I think, coming out. Oh, the only other thing I will mention is that I'm filling Dan's position. So that job opening will be posted here pretty soon. So
Dan DeGarmo?
Yes.
What's Dan doing?
Dan will be retiring at the end of December. So, and actually it'll be right after our next meeting, our December meeting. So, yes. So we'll be replacing him in hopefully in January. So, all right. Okay, anything else I can report out on? Anything new you guys want to cover?
Actually, could we back up to A1, the trash cans?
Yeah.
But I'd just like to know, I remember a lot of work was being done primarily by Rob a while back. And then I think we got diverted to working on the downtown containers. I guess I just wanted to understand where it was and where you expect to go next.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. So Rory, if you want to take a look at, I think I sent you that spreadsheet.
Yes, you did.
So
That was a while ago. Yes, I have it.
Okay, so Patrick and I met, I have to be embarrassed to say it was several months ago now, and we mapped out the next step in the parks, which was that we selected Ruth Hardy, and now it was kind of down to the hard slogging, which was to go to each one of the containers and get into the spreadsheet what the action items were for that container. So that's what's now in that spreadsheet, is for each one of those containers in Ruth Hardy, I've got a bunch of categories of action items, like, do they need to be painted? Do they need to be moved? What about signage? What about, let's see, what's the other, what about lids? And I've categorized them as whether, and what kind of action they need, and whether they need any action under that category or not at all. So that's where we are. And now, as to say, now is the time to start putting it into action if we can, if we have the resources and the commitment from the city to start doing the heavy lifting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's our next step, is really to refine that and develop a plan to take to maintenance. So, and based on the the interest from the Public Arts Commission in the painting idea, there were several that we noted, I think, that would need to be painted, and we had thoughts of how that might happen. But I think that we could really engage them on the repainting process, because we were thinking kind of something creative on that. So anyway, so I think that's a possibility too.
Very good.
Okay. All right. Okay, then, if nothing else, I will get back to stuffing envelopes. So,
All right.
great. Thanks, guys. And I will see you all on Monday at 4 o'clock downtown.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.